feels like falling stars. Heartache made you who you are, and looking back you see that I have always been there, 'cause I am on your side. Though the wind and waves beat against your face, and you were on my mind when the world was made. Trust in me, my child, trust in me, my child. Where you gonna hide? Where you gonna hide from me? Where you gonna go? Where you gonna go that I can't see? 'Cause I have heard you cry, and it breaks my heart, for I love you so. I would never lie. This is not the end. There is still a hope. When I am on your side, though the wind and waves beat against your face, and you were on my mind when the world was made. Trust in me, my child, trust in me, my child.
This is Chanel. She thinks she might be unexpectedly pregnant. While searching for resources, she finds Claris and sets up an appointment using their simple online form. On her first visit, she's given a chance to explore all of her pregnancy options and connect with a patient advocate who will continue to walk with her throughout her journey. Besides providing initial medical services, Claris will be there to offer Chanel education, resources, and ongoing support. This may mean classes and material resources, counseling and support groups, prenatal care, or simply getting connected with our trusted community partners. Claris is there for each person in their unique journey. Claris provides holistic care before, during, and after any pregnancy or sexual health concern. Throughout her journey, Chanel finds that Claris is committed to being there for her and her family, no matter how complex her needs or what choice is made. This is the Claris way. As 13,000 women have seen over the past decade, while you may walk in as a stranger, you always leave as family. Take your next step today at clarishealth.org.
This is for the dreamers who skip rocks on clouds, even when people keep telling them to come down. Yes, this is for the hopeless romantics who are more than open wounds or open books. They are pop-up shops of love, leaving letters in glass bottle and kissing them to shore. Yes, this is for the wild ones, too haunted by rejection to admit that they are wild. You are stampedes of freedom that everyone else is afraid of. You are proof that this world is not in need of any more normal. Yes, this is for the girls searching for beauty in cracked mirrors. There is no wholeness there. For the women who are hushed, do not let them silence the novels streaming from your tongue. Do not let them cage the lioness in your gut. Yes, this is for the women who get told that they are more chaos than human, more storm than functioning. It is okay to choose yourself. Sometimes it does not mean that you are selfish. Yes, this is for the lonely. I know the way it hurts when the stars kiss this side of earth, but please, darling, get up from your floor. There is no life for you there. Yes, this is for the wallflowers. Baby, it's time to peel your back up off that wall and dance. Do not be afraid of the way that your feet will take you somewhere new. Somewhere new is not always terrifying. Sometimes it is necessary. Yes, this is for the boys who get told to man up. You are man enough. For the men searching for the little boy still living inside of them. You will not find him on the bottom of your briefcase. space. It is okay to go play in the sand sometimes. Yes, this is for the women who are not yet in awe of the way that their being carries life. You are wonder and warrior for the fathers who are not known as half dad and half marathon runner. You have held baby in the palm of your hand. You are the definition of stay. Yes, this is for the teachers who are wondering why their heartbeat for change lessened with their paychecks. I heard a poet say once that sometimes they will hand you work boots in exchange for your dreams. You tell them instead, stop giving directions to places you've never been. Teach those kids that there's power in the ink of their pens. Yes, this is for the tutus and the Superman capes that we've buried, for the words that we have not yet let bloom, for the people who are only a smile away from being family, for the people who have not heard our dimple when we tell them, I love you. And this is for time, the way it ebbs and flows around us, daring us to blink, slipping through our fingers like sand. This is for the way the wave always comes back and the storm always comes. But this one, this right here, this is for you. Your letter in a glass bottle on your shore, open it. I hope you read in big, bold letters, you are enough. Yes, this one, my friends, this is for you. And you are more than enough.
How amazing was she? Ariel, thank you so much. I've heard it 3 times and I'm still crying. Welcome to the 2020 Claris Health Virtual Gala. My name is Camille Guadi and I am your host for this evening. Through tears right now. I just want to give a big shout out to the watch parties that are happening around the country. How exciting is it to know that people are tuning in from all over? And in this world of social media, don't forget to share your pictures tonight by tagging #Claris Gala. I'm just gonna wipe a couple more tears away. The word Claris means clarity, and that's what Claris brings to people facing some of the most challenging moments in life. Our theme tonight is Rise. You're going to see that this is a true expression of how Claris brightens a city with a very unique model of care. Something we can all cling on to right now as we rise above all that we are experiencing right now. I'd like to acknowledge a very special group of dedicated champions, our gala sponsors. They have collectively donated $300,000 in matching funds. Because of their commitment, every dollar that you give tonight will be quadrupled until we hit our minimum goal of $400,000. Hopefully, we'll far exceed that in our fundraising tonight. We are already over $112,000. You don't have to wait until the end of the night to give. Just click the donate button on charity.com/Claris at any point to give. And then you can give again later if you like, after a glass of champagne. I'm here tonight to support Claris because, as I quickly learned, what do they not do? From pregnancy health care to pre- and postnatal support, including free prenatal classes and free parenting classes, to sexual health prevention education, to mental health support, to a medical mobile clinic providing testings and supplying communities with groceries and essential supplies, to even finding housing for individuals if they need it. The list truly goes on. With all of that, you would think that there would be a team of 100 people helping these communities. No, Claris is a staff of just 18 selfless, compassionate individuals who are helping out people in these communities because they care. Behind everything Claris does is an army of people who, like me and like you, wholeheartedly believe in this cause. Let's meet a few of them. You might actually recognize some of their faces.
Hi, my name is Alan Richson.
My name is Sharif Atkins.
Hi, I'm Candace Cameron Bure.
I'm Patricia Heaton.
I'm Mike Vogel.
Hi everybody, I'm Ted Chen, and I'm a big supporter of Claris Health.
I'm a proud supporter of Claris for many reasons.
I've been a supporter of Claris for a number of years now.
I care about Claris because I'm the mother of 4.
I just wanted to take a second to show my support for the great folks at Claris Health.
I care for Claris because of the way they care for people. They become like family to anyone who walks through their doors.
Claris Health offers women the whole story, and they walk with them through every step of the process with encouragement and compassion and empathy.
Regardless of who they are or where they come from or what decisions they've made or what choices they've made.
I care because Claris is an organization entrenched in a tradition of having compassion for others in need and then taking action, selflessly serving them until that need is met.
Claris is there for vulnerable women with care and compassion.
In a time when we've all been encouraged to distance ourselves from one another, they have broken down barriers and they have boldly moved forward to help people with essential health care, counseling, food supplies, and most of all, hope to those who need it most.
When others have moved on, they're there in the difficult days and nights, whether it's diapers or formula, medical exams. Claris is there.
In other words, they act like our loving God who meets us where we are and loves us unconditionally. That is Claris Health, a model of grace and love and life.
And what's even more amazing is they do all of this virtually for free, which is why they need my help and support. It's why they need your help and support, so that they can continue to offer women the level of care that they so deserve.
This past year, even with all of its challenges, has been another monumental year. We served over 1,700 women and men and families through our sites in West and South Los Angeles. We reached more than 7,000 teens, young adults, and parents in Los Angeles through our sexual health education program. We expanded our community partner list to include 220 medical, mental health, and social service agencies to provide additional care. And last October, we officially drove our mobile clinic into the streets of Los Angeles. We've since served more than 3,000 people with medical services, community referrals, essential supplies, and other creative initiatives in the last few months. Tonight, I'm going to lead you on a journey through the mission of Claris and to equip and care for individuals and their families before, during, and after pregnancy and sexual health choices. We're going to focus on how Claris cares for people before, during, and after these life-changing decisions. Let's get started. Did you know 1 in 4 teens contract an STI each year? 3 in 10 sexually active teens get pregnant every year. Did you know most young people are first exposed to pornography between the ages of 8 and 11? Our communities need a reality check, and Claris has a sexual health education program called Just That. Their goal is to reach young people before they ever need Claris services, hopefully putting Claris out of business one day. Now let's look at a day in the life of one of the reality check speakers.
So some days I had to wake up as early as 6 a.m. to get to school. Other days I had to be at school at 10 a.m. So depending on the day, it's a little bit more tiring than others, but I love these kids so much, it's not as hard once I convince myself to get up out of the bed. I know the issue with me growing up when it came to the idea of sex is that you couldn't talk about it, don't think about sex, you can't think about sex until you're married or whatnot, all these different things that our parents and guardians tell us. And then that sparks that curiosity of like, well, what is sex? Why is it bad? Why can't I talk about it? And what's wrong with me knowing what it is? And so now it comes to the point where if my parents aren't talking to me about it, if teachers aren't going to speak up about it, the only idea of sex now is coming from the media I engage with.
Chris is such a valuable, not just speaker, but also role model to these students, because he not only walks in integrity and the stuff that he's talking about, but he's able to talk about some of these sensitive topics that oftentimes in society men are not comfortable or haven't felt comfortable talking about. Sex, healthy relationships, body image, hypersexualization and objectification in the media. Like, these are things that are happening that a lot of times women speak up to, but to have a man come in the room and just be able to talk about these sensitive issues is so impactful for the students.
So it's good that Reality Check comes into the schools and gives a healthy perspective on what sex is and how sex is a beautiful thing in the right context. When I was growing up, this was probably the case for maybe a lot of people out there, but what happened with me is that one speaker came into my class one time. It was very cut and dry and it wasn't relatable, and whenever I got there, it was just very graphic images, and that's all I remembered from the presentation. It didn't really connect with me. It didn't really have a huge impact on my future, whatnot, just besides seeing what STDs and STIs look like. But what's very amazing about Reality Check is that each and every speaker makes a personal connection with the students. They are very transparent about their life's journey. You're able to connect with them on a personal level. They share stories that are very similar to a lot of the situations and circumstances and life issues that a lot of these teens are going through. So teens are like, oh wow, they go through it too? So that's one of the most rewarding moments for me, is whenever that revelation clicks inside of a student's heart or brain, and they're able to have that change the whole trajectory of how they see themselves, how they treat other people, and their whole life's journey. That's the rewarding part. Revealing is healing. Every story unlocks another story to be told. And I couldn't be selfish with my own life's journey. And I've always wanted to be transparent, and sometimes shame will say, no one else needs to know about this. Be perfect, look flawless. Don't let anyone know that you're a human being. But the fact that I could show that I'm a human being makes me relatable, and it makes me be able to connect with people's life's journeys more than me trying to look perfect did.
I love that video of Chris. It shows that the presenters for our Reality Check program are not just excellent public speakers, they truly are role models for the youth we serve. My name is Jordan, and I am so thankful to serve as a Reality Check program manager, where I get to work with Chris and our team of fantastic speakers here at Claris. One of our board members recently said that Reality Check is like the game room at Claris. We have a lot of fun talking about sex and relationships all day. It's true. The reality is that young people are curious about these topics, and parents can feel unsure of how to start the conversation. This is where Reality Check comes in. Reality Check partners with schools and organizations to provide sexual education in an entertaining and holistic way. We currently have 7 one-hour-long presentations, as you can see here, for teens and parents covering a variety of topics. The presentations are designed to start a conversation and take a deep look at what influences our behaviors. Things like our core values, peer pressure, the cultural messages we see every day. In all of our presentations, our speakers combine personal stories and testimonies with medically accurate information to help students imagine their futures, identify their values, and consider the facts before making sexual choices. Due to COVID, most schools here in LA transitioned to online learning, so we've been able to get creative with our program at Reality Check. We've converted all of our presentations to Zoom, so in addition to schools and youth groups, we can offer private presentations for your teens and their friends. The possibilities are endless. So if you're in the LA area or even another state or city, Reality Check would love to connect with you. Visit our website or social media handle to find me and learn more. It's not just Reality Check that has gotten creative this year. I'm fairly new to the Claris staff team, and on my first day of work in August, I came into my new office, so excited, and found it stacked to the ceiling, packed full of donated hygiene kits and pantry items. Our mobile clinic staff stepped up in this season to provide these additional services in our community. Check it out.
I was a athletic director teacher at a high school. When I came home last April, I told my wife, I said, I'm gonna tap out, let's join the Peace Corps, go to Africa. So she said, cool, let's go. So then I was kind of kicking around with nothing to do. And my minister said, there's these folks looking for someone to drive this mobile medical unit. I told them not to hire me, but if they needed somebody, I'd do it. No, I mean, I just want to, I just want to do as much as I can while I can.
We go to 24 different sites around LA County every month. This includes addiction centers, trafficking safe houses, homeless shelters, housing projects, high schools. And we see a variety of different clients, all different ages, different backgrounds, different needs. But I think the thing that unites all of the clients that we see is just the desire to be heard. Overall, we've been blown away by the response of the mobile. We've just been really encouraged, and our sites have been very full. Our community partners that we've been working with have been awesome. They've been booking patients for us every day. Oftentimes when we show up at the site, there's a line of people waiting for us. It's a really exciting time, and we're just hoping we can help as many people as possible.
I heard about Claris through a program that I'm in, Shields for Family. It's accessible, and it's accessible for those who probably wouldn't naturally, have the option to go get health care or get checked out, get services. With it being here, at least it plants the seed as well. People who might not have went and got checked or got a physical, they see it there, they know it's an option, and they're like, hey, let me go check, see what's up with my health, So at least it's putting that awareness in the community as well, because health is important. And people are afraid, or to go in those offices. Sometimes people get anxiety being in the streets or wherever it's located. It's a little more, like I said, it's an easier process, I believe.
It's not what I had envisioned it to be. That's why I was a little nervous at first, but I think it's really important to have a mobile clinic like this, because first of all, you're able to, be able to go to different places, and a lot of women can't get around, especially in LA. They don't have that access. To have this, and then knowing how comfortable it is, feeling like you're really inside a doctor's office it was definitely amazing. And like I said, I actually like it better now than going to the actual doctors, because like I said, because that intimate moment for me, I feel is very important.
If you look at it like this, you got two clinics, two good places, but people can't get there. It's amazing too. I mean, we go to different places, and you probably know Compton, Long Beach, Hollywood, Echo Park, all kinds of places. It's nice. The one that I probably like the most, which is the hardest, and that's Skid Row.
So at the very beginning of the pandemic, we decided to pause all medical services on the mobile just to find a way to make sure that everyone is safe, our staff and our patients. And almost immediately after we made that decision, we started getting calls from other social service agencies that had to shut down completely, or housing projects or former clients, and they all had a huge need. It was essential items, groceries, hygiene kits, things for their children. And so we were able to quickly pivot. One of the greatest things about the mobile is that it's so flexible, and it's 30 feet of space that we can fill with these essential items that are critical to bring into communities and to help people through this incredibly challenging and difficult time. One of the nice things too is we can assemble a team that can go and that can be there. And so it's not just dropping off supplies, you're also met with a friendly face and somebody that genuinely cares and is able to be there and show the communities that we haven't forgotten about them, that we are still here to meet some of these needs, and in partnership with so many other organizations that have that same heart and same mindset.
Because I kind of grew up on welfare, all kinds of crazy stuff. So I was kind of like, when you see some of these people, it's not too far removed from, maybe an earlier time in my life. So anybody who donates to this, man, I'm gonna take my hat off to them, I respect them, I thank them, because they're gonna help my people, man.
How great is Frank? I am excited to announce that we have raised almost $174,000 so far. If you've been moved by what you just heard and how Claris is reaching people through Reality Check and their mobile clinic, then pause and give now. Unintended pregnancies affect all those around us. It is said that nearly half of pregnancies in the US each year are unintended. Let that sink in. Almost 50% of all pregnancies. These pregnancies are accompanied by conflicting emotions: fear, excitement, confusion, joy. Claris meets women who often share that they feel trapped by their circumstances or the pressure of those around them. Many believe abortion is their only option, and there are plenty of places in this city that offer that service. While Claris does not perform abortion services, we specialize in helping women know that there is always more than one choice. She's not trapped. She's not alone. She matters. Her child matters. Her family matters. At Claris, we offer medical care, we counsel, we find resources. We are in the trenches with women as they wrestle with life-changing decisions. Let's meet Kelsey, who experienced all of this firsthand. Kelsey.
Hi, my name is Kelsey. I may have sat next to you at a past Claris Gala or volunteered alongside you throughout the years. You see, my journey with Claris goes back to college when Talitha came and spoke to my senior class about Claris's mission to help those at their most vulnerable time. I was immediately drawn to the cause. I believed in it so much that I donated my time, my money, and efforts over the years to Claris. Never in a million years did I think that I would be in a position to need them, or that I would be standing up here today to tell you my story. A little over a year ago, my world came to a complete halt. I had always wanted to get married and have children with my Prince Charming, but I found myself at 35, unmarried, and with no children. I was dating somebody, but I decided to look into freezing my eggs to take the pressure off my ticking clock, and found myself at a fertility clinic, unknowingly in the same building as Claris off of Olympic. My life changed in an instant when at my second appointment I was told that I would not be able to move forward with freezing my eggs because one was already in use. I was pregnant. Me, pregnant? No, you must have the wrong woman. After planning my life out so carefully, it just couldn't be me. I couldn't be pregnant and unmarried with an unplanned pregnancy. I was terrified to my core. Unplanned pregnancies are things that happen to other people, younger people, to people who aren't me. And yet, I found out that unplanned pregnancies can happen regardless of how planned your life is, regardless of how Christian you are, regardless of how much you think you're immune to these things. My mind raced to figure out how to fix this. I felt like an utter failure. Shame engulfed me. I kept thinking about how I couldn't keep this baby. My Christian family would hate me and turn me away. My friends would judge me. My work would resent me. And somewhere in those first few days of frantic spinning, Claris came to mind. I just had to talk to them. So I called Talitha, and her soothing, calming words immediately washed over me. And for the first time in days, the spinning slowed down. I felt heard and understood, and a few days later found myself walking into that same building where I was going to the fertility clinic to freeze my eggs. But ironically this time, I was walking into that building as a pregnant woman, into Claris. I'd been feeling like I was walking around with a scarlet letter on my chest, but walking to Claris, I didn't feel that way. I was met with warmth and understanding. Their mouths weren't gaping open as I told them my situation. They didn't run in horror or shock or yell at me like I felt like I deserved. I didn't feel safe to talk to any friends about this, so Claris stepped in and became a friend to me when I needed it most. They helped me not to feel so alone or ashamed, and as part of their services, they offered to personally connect me with women who had been in my position. And after talking to and even meeting one of them for dinner one night, I was left inspired and relieved in ways that I couldn't find anywhere else. They'd walked in my shoes. They lived to tell about it. Life wasn't completely over for them. They gave me the comfort and space I needed to be able to come to a decision of what I wanted to do without the fear and the shame talking so loudly, to hear my heart in it all. I decided to keep the baby, and 8 months later, I birthed this beautiful, happy, squeaky, giggly little baby girl. Little did I know how much myself and my family needed her. You see, 5 days after she was born, my dear brother passed away tragically and suddenly, shattering myself and my family into a million pieces. And while the grief has been heavy and overwhelming and beckons me to give up and stay in the sadness and darkness, this sweet little baby girl looks at me with her big eyes and pulls me out of where I'm tempted to stay for good. She's been the one beacon of light in this dark time for both myself and my family. And she's the one sweet little human that can make my parents smile after the tragedy of losing their only son. And in a way, she saved all of our lives. She's given us a reason to hope and to get up every day and to keep going because her life deserves it. Because her smile or perfectly timed farts cuts through the darkness and makes us laugh in ways that nothing else can. So if you learn anything from my story, it's that you never know when it could be you, your best friend, your daughter, your colleague in a situation like mine where they need Claris. And you never know why a child is meant to come into our lives, but it just might be to save your own life and to bring light and joy into a dark, dark place. If you ever find yourself in this situation, you aren't alone. I'll always be grateful to Claris for being a safe place for me to go and for helping me along my journey to meeting my daughter and to getting married and to have that family that I always dreamed of, just in a different way and order than I thought. My life would be missing so much joy and love and hope without her. And so, if she'll have it, I would like to introduce to you my husband, Shane, and my daughter, Kenzie, who is crying back there.
I grew up with my mom and my sister. I didn't have a good relationship with my dad because he's been in and out of jail the majority of my life. But growing up with a strong female role model like my mom, it's always made me want my own family. This is not my first pregnancy, so it was kind of easy as telltale signs. I had a high-risk pregnancy because of the amount of blood I lost while having an IUD. So I was pretty nervous in the beginning of my pregnancy because I wasn't sure if I would be able to carry. The Centering Prenatal Care Group, I started when I was in my first trimester, so maybe like at my 6 or 7 week mark, I was already in class, and I was in there with 4 other women. And from the second class, I knew that I needed them, just like they needed me. We had amazing story times and just the reassurance of knowing that you're not the only person stressed out, you're not the only person going through something. You need that group of, I could say this right now and I would never have to hear about it again. And it feels good to be able to walk in class and be like, and today, today was a rough day, but I'm going to get through it. Take it to class and leave it right there in class. I'm a happy person. I'm bubbly. I'm always a person that wants to like make everybody laugh and just be the life of the party. In this pregnancy, that wasn't me. It's like I really had a lot of depression. And once I realized what I was going through mentally, I'm happy that I had somewhere to go and someone to talk to, because I don't know if I would have went through with it. So now that my daughter is 5 months, I just received the email and I will be starting centering with Nikki via Zoom. When I go back to centering, because we can't actually be in a class setting, we're gonna have a drive up where we could still pick up the things that we need for our babies, as far as like diapers, wipes, clothes, socks, anything that's needed. They really do help, and I appreciate them. I'm always referring people. Like, if you need the help, the mental help, not just, oh girl, they gave me some diapers and now I'm happy. No, like the conversations, the checking on your baby every class, and just, that's what you really need while pregnant. Like, it was kind of like the pregnancy pack. I feel amazing. Like, yes, I do have 2 sons, but having a girl, having a mini me to do hair, and then we kind of like have our little girl chat, like, look at these boys acting crazy. It's just having another female in the house, even though she's so small, it just makes me so happy to know that I'm raising a little me, basically. I'm thankful that you guys think about us, not just the gifts, but the fact that I was able to go to counseling for free. I was able to walk into a room and get the hug that I needed at that time, at that moment. It helped with everything that I needed, and I'm truly grateful.
As you saw, Tatiana's story didn't end when she had her baby. This is why Claris walks alongside women and families in the months and years that follow a pregnancy decision. For those who choose to parent, we offer classes in English and Spanish, one-on-one mentorship, and material support through our free baby stores until their child turns 5. We also started a family reunification program in which parents with children of any age can take a series of classes that will satisfy a court mandate and help them regain custody of their children. We offer this class at numerous community partner sites, including inpatient rehab centers, reentry group homes for those transitioning out of incarceration, and even at the Linwood Women's Correctional Facility. The global pandemic has opened many doors to help us reach even more parents, like the call we received last April from the county about a mom in need. She had been in a domestic violence situation, locked down in the house with her abuser. After a particularly bad incident, her kids were removed from her custody. Thankfully, she was able to get out of this situation, but now was faced with the difficult task of getting her kids back. Even though this mom was all the way out in the Antelope Valley, Claris was able to step in and provide free court-mandated classes via Zoom that this mom breezed through with the finesse of one who fervently loves her kids. She was miraculously able to get a court date and was awarded custody back. No matter where families are on their journey, no matter their geographic location, Claris Health can help. We know that not all women choose to parent. For those who choose to place for adoption, we connect them with adoption advocates and a birth mom support group for ongoing care. For those who choose abortion or who've experienced the grief of a miscarriage or stillbirth, we offer pregnancy loss support groups and one-on-one counseling for women and men. One of these brave women is here today to share her story. I'd like you all to meet Nia.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nia. I'm honored to be here with you all tonight and share my story with you. In the fall of 2015, my senior year at Loyola Marymount University, I interned for Claris. I had always had a passion for women's healthcare and especially serving those in underserved communities. My internship was an amazing, eye-opening experience. I remember calling my mom one day on my way home from the clinic, joyfully crying and telling her I had found my purpose. I wanted to spend my life providing support and clarity to women who are often making some of the most difficult decisions of their lives. The simple act of being there to listen and speak with women who had the potential to create a significant difference in their life. After graduating from LMU, I found myself in my first real relationship. Unfortunately, it was an emotionally toxic relationship, and I struggled with depression so badly to the point where I was hospitalized and sought help. That's when I found out I was pregnant. I was in complete shock. I was scared and didn't know what to do. Most of all, I was scared to tell my partner, as I already knew what he was gonna say: get an abortion. And a few days later, he did say just that. I panicked and made the decision to get the abortion. I thought it would make him stay and love me more. Immediately after getting the abortion, I knew I had made the wrong decision. Soon after the abortion, we broke up, he moved to the East Coast, and I fell into a deeper depression. I felt devastated, abandoned, ashamed, angry, and sad, and I didn't feel like anyone truly understood what I was going through. Luckily, I remembered my time interning at Claris. I recalled all the love everyone eagerly and selflessly poured into the clients. Even though I knew my family loved and cared for me, I needed to talk to someone who had been through my experience. I decided to reach out to Christina, a patient advocate at Claris. She met with me after hours and sat and listened to me while I told her my story. She made me feel heard and seen during one of the darkest times of my life. She encouraged me to see a therapist at Claris and process my abortion. It was one of the best decisions I have ever made. For 6 months, I met regularly with the Claris therapist who helped me forgive myself for my shame and guilt surrounding my abortion. I felt empowered to learn how to make decisions for myself, speak up for myself, and advocate for myself. I had a lot of self-hatred and anger regarding my decision to have an abortion. Therapy taught me to come to grips with the fact that I'm only human, and I made the best decision for myself at the time. I learned to forgive myself and release my shame. A few years later, I reconnected with my ex, and I believed we had matured and we could enter into a healthier relationship. Unfortunately, it was still very unhealthy, and I found myself pregnant again. I couldn't believe I had been so stupid to let it happen again. Although this time, I was certain I wanted to keep the baby. No matter what it took, no matter what anyone said, even when he told me he wanted nothing to do with me or my child, it would not sway my decision. I reached out to Stacy, my old supervisor at Claris. She connected me with various staff members at Claris to help me navigate my decision. They helped me solidify why I wanted to have the baby and what my future career goals and life would look like with the baby on the way. They encouraged me and lifted me up when I felt so low. I'll never forget my first ultrasound. Claris gave me the opportunity to see my growing baby and his little heartbeat at 6 weeks. My pregnancy and baby immediately became real. Claris welcomed me with open arms and no judgment. They provided me with support every step of the way. And honestly, if it had not been for my connection with Claris over the past 5 years, I might not have my precious son today. Caleb Anthony was born July 1st, 2020 at 12:18 a.m. He is the joy of my world. Being a single mother is challenging, but I would not trade it for anything in the world. Throughout my pregnancy and the last 3 months of being a mother, I've experienced the lowest of lows and the highest of highs. Yet, I have hope for our future because we are surrounded by endless love and support. Because of God, the support of my family, friends, and Claris's community, I am able to pursue my dreams of becoming a women's health nurse practitioner and a certified nurse midwife. I am currently attending school to get my medical assistant certificate and hope in the near future to finish my master's degree in nursing. I am incredibly thankful for the path Claris has provided me to reach my career goals, but more so, the life-changing clarity of knowing I have the strength to be a wonderful mother. And now, I'm excited to introduce you all to Caleb, my son. I'm so overjoyed I made the decision to have him.
Hello, my name is Caitlin Crosby Benward, and I'd like to introduce you to our final speaker of the evening. Talitha Phillips is the CEO of Claris and so much more. She has led this organization for 19 years. For those of you who have had the privilege to get to know her, her drive, tenacity, heart for those in need is unlike anything else I have ever experienced. She's not just the CEO, she is boots on the ground. She is not just in an office, she is in the hospital room. She is making furniture in the middle of the night. She is making hand sanitizer for all the gala sponsors and guests at 2 o'clock in the morning. And she's not just a CEO, she is helping women give birth all over the city, including me, and sleep training people's children, including mine. She really is the real deal, and she is changing people's lives. And it is my honor and pleasure and privilege to introduce you to Talitha Phillips.
Gosh. Well, nothing says 2020 like a virtual video introduction. So thank you, Caitlin. Love you guys. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that is watching around the nation. We've just been getting photos of watch parties and super excited to see Seattle, Washington, and Minnesota, and LA. And my personal favorite, my 93-year-old grandmother is in Tulsa, Oklahoma at her very first gala party. So thank you, Oma, for staying up past your bedtime, and I hope you enjoyed the night. Well, it was dark one night as I walked outside of UCLA Hospital in Santa Monica. I was pushing a wheelchair with a beautiful mom named Heidi. She had just given birth to a little boy a few days earlier, and her long blonde hair was pulled back, showing off her beautiful blue eyes and her bright red, tear-stained cheeks. She just said goodbye to her baby boy and handed him over to the family that she chose to raise him through an open adoption. See, I'd been a doula for many adoption situations before, but this one particularly broke my heart. See, this young mom had been a client at Claris, and then she lived with me for the last 6 weeks of her pregnancy. And that night, we would get in my car and we would drive home to what felt like utter darkness. It felt like we were experiencing a funeral for a baby that we had just met, but that we'd all loved so much. And as I held Heidi's hand in the car and we drove home, there was a silent, raw pain of letting go, the devastation of not knowing the future, and a future for him, for Heidi, for us. But just 4 years later, I was at another hospital in LA, and there was another brand new mom in a wheelchair, and her name was Becky. Becky had long red hair and those same sparkly, tear-stained eyes and splotchy red cheeks, and she too had just said goodbye to her brand new baby, a little girl that she had handed to me after choosing my family to raise her through an open adoption, a choice that would once again involve so much grief and pain of letting go. Another mom having to raise up out of a wheelchair to face an unknown future. This past February, I pushed another new mom in a wheelchair, only this time we were running into the hospital as fast as we could. It was Kelsey, who you just met earlier tonight. She was about to give birth to Kinsey in the hallway as her husband and I raced her up to labor and delivery, and just minutes after we got there, she delivered that perfect, beautiful little girl that you met. And in that moment, as Kinsey took her very first breath, I couldn't help but think about the call that I'd received months before that, when Kelsey was overwhelmed by her unknown future. Could she have a baby? Would her life go on? See, these questions were not that unfamiliar to me. When I was a 19-year-old college student staring at my own positive pregnancy test, I asked many of those same questions. And instead of reaching a lifeline or someone who told me that I wasn't alone or that I could do this, I sat in a clinic that was so much different than Claris, and I heard these words. A woman said, "You're young." She said, "You have your whole life ahead of you. We can make this go away." And as much as I wanted to believe that that wasn't true, and as much as I wanted to not let fear or defeat overwhelm me, it did. And I went through with an abortion, and then almost immediately I vowed that I would take it to the grave and that I would spend the rest of my life hating myself for what I had done. As Camille mentioned earlier, about 50% of all pregnancies are unintended, which means that millions of women across America experience these kind of situations each and every year. Women who face hard choices, choices that are often clouded with darkness and confusion. But that is not where their story ends. Brian Stevenson, the founder of the Innocence Project and one of my heroes, says that each one of us is so much more than the worst thing that we've ever done. You are so much more than the worst thing that you have ever done or the worst thing that you have ever lived through. See, I believe that hope can grow in the midst of darkness. I was so struck by this photo that I found a few weeks ago and kept thinking, what a perfect picture of what these moments feel like. A plant, new life, a glimmer of hope growing in the midst of concrete.
If you live in LA, you know that so many of our sidewalks look like that. And for the last 45 years, Claris has fought for these moments, for people to know that they're not alone, that these hard moments can actually be a catalyst for a bright future. Like a plant that's breaking through the concrete, we all need to know that there are people who can paint a hopeful future, a future that we just can't see for ourselves yet. See, Heidi went on to graduate from nursing school. She discovered her passion for working with the elderly. She's a proud mom of another incredible little boy, and she's a cancer survivor. Becky discovered her passion for helping other birth moms. She went on to train to be a doula, and she's starting an organization to provide advocacy and support for other birth moms. And Becky has the sweetest relationship with her birth daughter, with my little girl, Adeline Joy, who is now 8 years old. This is a photo of us just a few weeks ago. And as you heard, Kelsey's family embraced her when she was pregnant, and she got married, and she too has an amazingly bright future ahead. And I stand here today as a living example that my most painful experience, the thing that I tried so hard to bury, actually revealed my calling in life. See, it first led me to Claris for help, and then God made it abundantly clear that He was calling me to help other women so that they know that they're not trapped or defined by their circumstances. So they know that He can turn our ashes into something so beautiful, just like that little flower that's growing in the concrete. Many of you will recognize this photo. It was taken in March. It's some of the freeways in Los Angeles, and you can almost hear the silence, sense the emptiness and the isolation and the uncertainty. Freeways across the nation look just like this, and behind the doors of our cities and on our streets were people. Some were anxious, some were terrified, some were hurting. See, COVID-19 united us in many ways, even though our experiences were different. And the world tried to shut down, but it couldn't, because the needs in our cities kept growing exponentially each and every day. And out of this experience and unknown future grew this small army of people rising together to meet the need. And we did so in ways that we could have never imagined. And as you've heard tonight, Claris was there. We were on those freeways day after day, moving toward people, because that's the fabric of who we are. See, in this dark and difficult year, there is an everlasting promise. John 1:5 says it best: light shines in the darkness, and darkness has not overcome it. Let that sink in for a minute. Light shines in the darkness. You are not alone. Wherever you are, maybe you're watching tonight because you need that reminder that God's light can shine in the midst of your darkness, that you are loved, that your life has the most incredible purpose. So where do we go from here? I want you to dream with me for a moment. And I know, who dreams in the midst of a global pandemic? But apparently Claris does. So I would like you to think, what would it look like if we had several mobile clinics in many parts of the city? What if we had a giant Claris campus, a building that we owned, with tenants that could represent many of the social services that our clients need, whether it's legal assistance or housing or childcare? What if we could be a true one-stop shop, a community center, a bright light in the midst of a city that seems to be growing darker every day? And what if we could provide options counseling and support and all the services that make Claris so unique? What if we could provide those around the nation through telehealth and then connect people directly to a network of providers in their own community, regardless of where it is, that specializes in caring for the unique needs of women and families in unintended pregnancy situations? Well, that's where we're headed. That's the future that we believe is possible. And in the next year, in addition to serving thousands of people locally through our mobile clinics and existing facilities, we want to start to build a foundation for all of this and for our vision, which is to create a standard where unintended pregnancies are actually seen as opportunities for bright futures. If you feel passionate about anything that I've shared or that you've heard tonight, or if you want to reach more people like Nia and Kelsey and the other people you've met tonight, now is the time to give. See, every penny counts, and it'll help us raise money to reach thousands of lives in the next year. And if you're excited about our big dreams, or if you know someone who owns a building that they'd like to donate, or a city where they'd like us to have a presence in, or if you've heard some of these stories tonight and you realize that, like me, you first need Claris's services, please contact me. See, I believe that together we can move mountains. And I want to ask you, wherever you are, to rise up tonight. Maybe you need to physically stand up to say that you stand with us, that you believe in, and you will fight for a brighter future. And while you pull out your phones or computers to give, I am so excited to introduce you to our final performance of the night. Let's hear it for the most incredibly talented Andra Day.
Peace and blessings. My name is Andra Day. I wish I could be there with you all to celebrate the many ways that Claris helps people rise up in their community. With your support, we will help women and families rise above their circumstances and really embrace a bright and hopeful future. This song is for you all.
Go round and you can find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we're gonna walk it out and move mountains. We're gonna walk it out and move mountains. Yeah, and now rise up. I rise like the day, I rise up, I rise unafraid, I rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you. Silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe, and I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet and move mountains. Bring it to its feet and move. And I rise up, I rise like the day, I rise up, I rise unafraid, I rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. For you. We have each other, and for that we have each other, and we will rise, we will rise, and we'll rise. I will rise up high like the waves are. In spite of the ache, 1,000 times again. Oh, Thank you. God bless.
Wow. Just so beautiful. Thank you, Andrew Day, for that powerful performance. Our giving total is now up to $385,000. But I have some exciting information. If we reach our goal of $400,000, we have a donation of $100,000 in matching funds that will be given. So that totals up to $600,000. The only catch, you gotta donate tonight. You have to donate now. So get up off of your couches, get to that computer, get to your phone, and press that donate button because we need to reach the goal tonight. So we are so grateful to each and every one of you for joining us tonight, and most importantly, for giving. A very big thank you to the production crew that's behind the scenes, perfectly orchestrating the evening, and to the brave women who shared their stories with us tonight. There's just so much to celebrate, and we couldn't have done it without you. If you haven't done so already, please follow Claris on all social media. Keep posting, keep sharing, keep donating. There will be a recorded version of this program available on this site within the next few hours. And stay tuned for more ways that you can get involved, including an upcoming 5K virtual race on Thanksgiving Day. Check it out and have a great night. Thank you, guys.